As the executor or personal representative of an estate, you may be surprised to find out that the property associated with the descendant might not have to go through the probate process in the Durham County courts system, or the court system in North Carolina in general. So what happens to real property in North Carolina in probate cases? What's going on, everyone? This is Courtney Rollins, the Durham County certified probate expert, and here to discuss with you everything related to probate, particularly when there is real estate involved. Now, again, I give a disclaimer. I am not an attorney, and I'm not giving legal or financial advice. This is just my experience, my opinions, talking to a bunch of attorneys, visiting the courthouse, spending time with the clerks, spending time with the assistant clerks, and figuring out and digging deep into what are the issues and concerns that you as a personal representative maybe go through, so that I can make them my problems or issue concerns and make the probate process smoother and easier for you in that case. So let's take a look at what happens to real property in Durham, North Carolina in the probate cases. So again, probate is the process of settling the estate of a deceased person. That's including debts and distributing any assets that may have been acquired during that person's time. Now, there are specific guidelines for real property when it's left behind. All right, so except when the real estate is directly willed to the estate, ownership to the real property usually goes directly to the heirs, and it's handled outside the estate being administered. It's not handled inside the probate office. The Register of Deeds will take care of that, and that is its own separate case and entity. Therefore, any income or rent generated by the properties are not appropriated or put into the estate. Also, the estate's funds cannot be used to pay any property expenses, such as the property taxes, the insurance, mortgages, or utilities. Now, in a situation where the property is actually willed into the estate, but the equity may be needed from the property to pay off debts or claims against the estate, then the real estate can be pulled into the estate, and that's through a special filing a special procedure before the Durham County clerk called the content of petitions to sell. Now, the content of petitions to sell needs to include the description of the real property, the interest that's wished to be sold from that real property. It must include the names, the age, address, if known, of all the devisees or the people who are going to be granted or heirs of that descendant, and the statement from the personal representative or the executor that has determined that this is the best interest of the administration of the estate to sell the real property sought to be sold. So basically saying, hey, this is the best interest so that we can pay the claims and the debts here. Now, what happens when there's encumbrances or the mortgage property? Now, when the property is specifically willed to someone, that heir or devisee takes the property subject to all the liens and encumbrances that came with that property. They're not allowed to escape, remove, or be exonerated from those debts or those encumbrances unless an express part of the will grants the right of exoneration. And however, the general statement in the will to say pay the debts of the descendant is not enough to grant such a right. So this doesn't limit the options of the qualified creditor against the heir or the estate if the heir fails to make payments on the encumbrances. So people who are rightly or just have justification to receive the claims that they have against the estate still have that right, and they're going to be able to exercise that right, and I'm sure they will exercise that right. That's why it's so important to make sure you have a qualified attorney and probate professionals supporting you through the process. Now, the personal representative may decide to go ahead and pay these encumbrances if the property is titled to the estate that's being administered, if again they find that's the best interest. However, please note that any payment that of the debt must be taken into account, and is taken into account during the accounting and calculation and distribution of the estate, and it will not increase the share of that heir of the asset. So it doesn't make people be able to receive more because the personal representative decided to pay those encumbrances. It must be taken into account. Again, I really advise that you seek proper legal counsel and advice to help you support the process. Now, at Estate Pro Services, we pick up everywhere where the attorneys may leave off. Attorneys are invaluable, and I'd like to think that the work that we do is invaluable as well. because there are so many things, steps, and processes that need to be taken place to make sure the estate is settled and handled in an efficient manner. And efficient means less headache for you, and efficient also means less expensive quite often for you. So if you don't work with a state pro service or a qualified, or if you're seeking a qualified counselor or attorney, I highly recommend you do reach out, because we can connect you with someone that best fits your needs. And regardless, definitely recommend you go find that. If you don't go through us, find it on your own, because we want to make sure you are taken care of, and that the loved one that passed away's estate is taken care of as well. All right. So feel free to check us out at estateproservice.com. This is the Life in Transitions podcast as well. We're professionals who help people prepare for and go through these life big changes and challenges, such as probate or such as estate planning, to protect the assets. So hopefully you will avoid probate in the future, as well as helping folks deal with the real estate that's involved in their property. Feel free to reach out to us and hit that like, subscribe. Any questions, feedbacks, reviews are always welcome. It helps us grow. It helps us get out there to more people. It's what the algorithm likes on Spotify, Apple, and Google, and all that stuff. So we definitely want to adhere to those algorithms, and we greatly, greatly appreciate you. All right, this is Courtney Rollins signing off. Rising tides, it lifts all sails.